A very warm welcome to this afternoon showcase at the Smart Protein Summit, the India Smart Protein Innovation Challenge Achievers Showcase. I am Shardul Dabir, the Innovation Specialist at GFI India, and my key focus lies on accelerating the growth of the smart protein ecosystem and also to build a sustainable pipeline for talent in this sector. I started working at GFI India in late 2018, and since then, in the 2 years, I've had multiple conversations with multiple stakeholders like academia, entrepreneur, big food corporations, and they all had a same problem: a major dearth of quality scientific and non-scientific talent. Talent which can help develop tasty, economical, and convenient smart protein products and solutions, especially for the Indian market. So the lack of this talent pool is a major bottleneck to the establishment of any novel sector, right? But particularly so in the case of smart proteins. We wanted to educate and inspire as many young people as possible to think about this sector, and also we wanted to equip them with the skills and knowledge necessary to start succeeding in this sector. That's why we put together the India Smart Protein Innovation Challenge. It's an opportunity to build the early stage ecosystem, and at the same time also inculcate a lot of knowledge and specific know-hows, whether it's scientific or business, in the minds of these participants. We were blessed with participants with immensely diverse backgrounds and novel ideas, and we picked up a few based on their diligence and passion towards this sector. They certainly stood out for us through a combination of their performance on the assessments and out of the box or hatke ideas. So let's get started. We have five promising future smart protein innovators with us. We have Amanda, a doctoral food science researcher and also a teacher in the same subject with years of experience at Licious. And she's now using all of that experience to innovate in the plant-based meat category. We have Shagufta, an art curator, educator, and who's also lead chef for an organic plant-based zero-waste food range. And she's also independently researching wild edible plants in India. We have Manjari, a young 19-year-old undergrad scholar studying at one of the best food technology universities in India with big dreams of making it into the plant-based meat sector. We also have Pratham with us, a chemical engineer from IIT Roorkee, who is published internationally for his research on biofuels and has researched with giants like Cisco in the past and is now currently focused on the plant-based seafood category. We have finally Devika with us, a civil engineer from NITK Surathkal, who's currently working at Silicorp Services and focused on creating nutritionally rich plant-based meats with a sustainability angle to it. Awesome. This seems like a fantastic lineup. Thank you for joining us. Now we'll move on to a quick question and answer session with each one of you. So let's go first to Amanda to understand her story. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Shardul.
So can you tell us a little bit about the idea that you're currently working on?
Shardul. So I've been working on the making of kebab from plant-based ingredients. The selection of the product is based completely on the consumer's likeliness in the restaurants, food outlets, as well as at homes. So our survey for different ranges of the product also showed the same statistics. And the main focus with regard to product development is on the taste as well as the convenience of the product at the time of consumption. The product will be packaged in a package consisting of a primary as well as a secondary package, and the primary package will be an active packaging material. So the product will mimic the taste and the nutritional value of chicken exactly. And why chicken? Because it is a low cost and it has ease of digestibility, and also owing it to be low in fats as well as cholesterol. And plus the market and the liking of kebab by Indian consumers is on a rise, making it the reason for our selection of this product.
Yeah, chicken kebabs made from plants sounds great to me as a product. I would definitely try that. My second question to you is, you're currently pursuing doctoral research at Tespo University, and at the same time, you're teaching hundreds of food science students at SIT Longowal, right? So having gone through this challenge, what are your thoughts about the smart protein sector as a research option or as a future career for your students?
Okay, so talking about my pursuit of this sector, I am more than willing to embark on this amazing journey towards the future of food, because meat is definitely the future, and we are going to revolutionize the way we identify with meat products. And mainly it would happen if we get the taste, price, and convenience on point. And companies like Impossible Burger and Beyond Meat are doing this. So I definitely recommend my students to pursue the sector owing to its high career opportunities, and I see immense potential in the sector. And whatever I'd say would be less about the challenge. Because this amazing challenge has set up a platform for students as well as working professionals to showcase their enthusiasm about PB meats, eggs, and dairy. So also the NPD aspect plus the resources the webinar conducted has helped me develop my critical thinking skills with respect to development of a revolutionary plant-based product. And additionally, the challenge has also helped me with being patient so that I can give in the quizzes and all the read the materials on time. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. The challenge was really intensive, and I'm really glad you finished all the quizzes and have made it to phase 2 and critically thinking about innovating in this sector. So, Amanda, we are really glad that teachers and researchers like yourself are thinking about the smart protein sector. You're in a position to motivate a lot of your students to join this sector, and I'm really glad it's all going in a positive direction. Thank you so much for joining us. So next, let's go to Shagufta Khan. Hi, Shagufta.
Hi, Shardul.
Great. So we loved your introduction, and you come with a background in art and education, right? So my first question for you is, how does a professional from art and education really thinks about the sustainable plant-based category and, making this a career option?
So I believe creating a dish is very similar to art, an art that you can enjoy with the sense of taste. You combine these different elements and unknowingly using a lot of food science there. I have chosen to be a flexitarian when I was 8. I completely started avoiding red meat. I like the texture, just not the smell and the bloody details. So I got really creative with making plant-based versions of the same. With my passion of foraging and learning about wild edible plants of India, I came up with some really good recipes that people loved because I love them too. Through the skill that I had developed, I got an opportunity to lead an organic kitchen where I got to ideate with some plant-based recipes from with ingredients from farms across India. Most of the products that I made was made from the so-called ugly produce that was normally discarded. Sustainability is what really drives me, so I wanted to make sure that all these good food was not really going to the landfill. With my background in education, I want to create awareness where people can discuss actively about these plant-based versions and plant-based alternative foods. And GFI has opened a really good platform so that we can finally actively start discussing these things here in India.
Yeah, that sounds very exciting, Shagufta. And so my second question for you is, you talked a lot about plant-based seafood and its transformation, right? So how do you really see that, having been
As
part of this?
yeah, so as Bruce Frederick rightly said that we don't want to disrupt the current meat industry, but transform it. I'm holding this thought really close while ideating for spec. We are thinking practical, but at the same time out of the box. So we've come up with a really exciting recipe that uses a novel blend of plant protein. One of them is a byproduct source, and this blend is a complete protein, and it gives the right organoleptic feels of a fish that most of Indians love. And also at the same time, we are able to reconstruct the exact muscle structure of a fish using a smart assembly process to make these plant-based seafood, because why not? And a technology that will help us increase time to market so the Indian consumers can have an option of plant-based seafoods available on the store shelves sooner, and also an alternate plant-based product on their plates.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan to me. It's very intricate, and I'm really glad that, non-sci-tech professionals like yourselves are thinking about such intricate details like muscle structures and replicating organoleptic properties. So I see clearly that the challenge has helped you in thinking and refining, more scientifically.
Of
So
course
thank you
it
so much for
is.
joining us today, Shagufta.
Thank you, Shardul, so much.
Next up, we have Manjari Sharma from Ghaziabad. Great. So we loved your introduction, and I have a couple of questions to quickly follow up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the idea that you're currently working on with your team as part of the Smart Protein Challenge?
So basically, our idea revolves around ready-to-cook plant-based chicken made from algae and underutilized indigenous crops by using certain novel techniques of isolation, encapsulation, etc. And we are also focused on producing gluten-free, soy-free, and sustainable chicken substitute that can offer the same meaty experience to the consumers. And we're using underutilized indigenous crops as it simplifies the raw material procurement process, and it also due to the lack of research and experimentations related to the same. So by studying the organoleptic and functional properties of these raw materials will not only open the white space opportunities, but would also diversify the present plant-based meat sources available there in the market. And we're also looking forward to supply our plant-based chicken as a raw material to the cloud kitchens.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Manjari, for those kind words. I'm sure you made the best out of the challenge because you were diligent and passionate to begin with, to achieve your goals. But it's really heartening to see that all the young students, not just at NIFTIM, across food technology universities in India, are thinking about this sector, and our challenge is helping them achieve their goals. Best of luck for your future. Next up, we have Pratham. Hi, Pratham. Can you tell us a little bit about your idea and what you're working on?
Sure, Sadhu. So we are currently focusing on using 3D printer technology for Pyrex scale. Currently, this technology poses a couple of challenges which we are working on to optimizing by integrating them with current techniques. For example, one such optimization could be partial printing and partial production using currently available scalable techniques like injection molding. So there's a huge amount of research already being done, and it's currently going on. And there are hundreds of open source projects already available. So for one such being Fab at Home model being developed by Cornell University, it's quite famous and it's widely used in the production of yummy desserts on a commercial scale. Also, the companies like Nova Meat is using this technology for their production. So we plan to develop our own 3D printer, customized 3D printer for catering to our specific needs. And on market research, we found that ready-to-meat fish fillet is a potential product to begin with, gradually moving on to other segments. And we plan to target Indian audience step by step, starting from tier 1 and gradually moving lower.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a well thought of plan. But let me ask you, what are the specific unique aspects of your idea? A lot of people are doing 3D printing. Why are you excited about your specific project?
Yeah, sure. So when you see many parts of India, like North India, where I am from, and especially those regions where there is no direct connection with the ocean, seafood is not readily available and it's relatively expensive. So we are looking forward to addressing this issue by focusing more on distributed production. For example, let's say we are able to produce in different regions of India rather than transporting it from coastal areas. We could not only save the transportation cost, but at the same time, we could provide fresher product, and also we can produce faster. So the important thing that excites us a lot is the usage of machine learning and developing our own customized neural networks for quality testing, and also for studying the behavioral aspects of the product when subjected to different conditions like change in temperature or pressure or maybe humidity. So similar work has already been done in the agriculture industry, and it has shown great results. And we are highly motivated to bring in this technology in the plant-based meat sector as well.
Wow, that sounds very, very exciting, Pratham. And I'm really glad that you're using all of your background and experience in high-tech industries in Silicon Valley and, artificial intelligence, neural networks, and try to optimize the ingredient selection and all of such very wide space opportunities in the smart protein sector. So thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck for your team.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Shadul, and thank you very much for organizing this competition. It's been an awesome journey so far. Thank you.
It was a pleasure to have you, Pratham. Next up, we have Devika.
Hi, Sharda.
Great. So we loved your introduction, and I have a couple of follow-up questions, right? You come with a background which is not really in the food sector, right? You're not a food professional. So what made you really innovate in the smart protein space in the first place?
So, as a software analyst with a civil engineering background, I believe in not being limited to careers defined by my degree. And I also believe in the power of learning on the job, on the go. So about 7 months ago, when I shifted to a completely plant-based diet, I was sure that my personal contribution to the issues posed by our current system of food should not be limited to just preaching what I practice. especially in the Indian context where there is a serious lack of fairly priced plant-based alternatives, which can be quite off-putting to someone trying to make better sustainable food choices. So the engineer in me was rather intrigued by this problem that I had a personal stake in, but did not have a straightforward solution to. I knew that there was scope for some real innovation here, and that too in a field that marries my interest in tech with that of sustainability. And I just really wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, makes like a lot of sense. And I think you've really found your passion in the sector, the way you were talking about it. So my follow-up question is, being a professional, again, from a different background, civil engineering, finance, how do you really see yourself contributing to the smart protein sector, having taken the smart protein challenge now?
So Shardal, coming into this challenge, I was very entrepreneurially focused until I got to see the working of a nonprofit like GFI. Now I'm very drawn towards starting a venture which focuses on maximizing social impact. And I feel like the smart protein sector is very conducive to initiatives like this, which is why our team has tried to go the extra mile and address the issue of food wastage faced by our farmers. In India today, we generate close to 67 million tons of food wastage annually. So we want to try to combat this issue by sourcing said produce, which would have otherwise been deemed unfit for retail, directly at its source and then pre-processing it, maybe through dehydration or drying, and then utilizing it as one of our key ingredients. So going forward, I just want to make sure that every venture that I'm a part of is focused on creating net positive outcomes. And that's really where my passion lies.
Yeah, Devika, that sounds great. Even personally, like I work at GFI India because of its immense social positive impact, right? And I'm really glad more and more professionals from, non-food backgrounds are realizing this and making smart protein sector as a go-to option for their career paths. Thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck for the future, Devika. This challenge was really intense 4-month journey, and it would have not been possible without our challenge partners. Gastrotube and Mistletoe have been the early believers and supporters for a challenge of this kind, and there are core organizing partners as well. So let's hear from Naho Shageta, director at Gastrotube and Mistletoe, about what they have to say about this challenge and why have they decided to partner up with GFI India.
Gastrotube is a joint venture between Mistletoe and GSF India and myself. We started this company from 2017. The objective of the Gastrotube is to create an ecosystem for farm to fork, and we have done some acceleration programs related to farm to fork, and Mistletoe invested in several Indian startups related to this criteria as well. Recently, we also target on the healthcare, especially preventive healthcare side. Because food is very closely related to human healthcare, and agriculture is also combined to food as well. Though these kinds of the context, we also can think protein market is really important for both human nutrition and the food value chain. Yeah, so that we think smart protein is one of the scope which we want to create the industry from India. Especially in India, many people doesn't take enough protein, but India is also one of the agriculture-related country and tech-enabled country as well. We think if India can be one of the smart protein hub, it can create a big influence on both in India and other countries as well. We are really happy to work with you and the Good Food Institute in India, and we hope we can create some kinds of the innovative ideas and the synergies, and not only for the business model, but also the research from these kinds of the activity. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Naho, for your kind words. We are really glad that we have such mission-aligned partners on this challenge, and you all are helping us cultivate the talent in this emerging area. Finally, let us take a quick look at what some of our supporting partners are saying about being part of this journey. So as you can see, all of our partners have really good things to say about the collaboration, and I'm really glad that we are working with CIA Co at IIM Ahmedabad, Mistletoe at Singapore and Japan, ProVeg Incubator from Germany, Brink Hong Kong, Big Idea Ventures New York and Singapore, Thought for Food Foundation out of US, Omnivore and Ankur Capital out of India, NX Foods based out of Germany, Agni and Startup India from Government of India, and I really like to thank them for all of their support on the challenge and believing in us. And finally, with this, I have reached at the end of our session today. This was a great rapid fire session with our participants. We learned a lot about the smart protein ecosystem and how young professionals are thinking about it, students and researchers are thinking about it. And I would like to thank you as audience for joining us today for this session.